There's a big question mark about sourdough bread. Bread should be light and sweet, not sour and heavy. But some people have interpreted that to thinking that it's sourdough bread. It's not sourdough bread. In fact, before the Industrial Revolution, we're back to the Industrial Revolution, we're coming to history. Before the Industrial Revolution, all bread was sourdough bread. And sourdough bread is a remarkable bread because it's a combination of wild yeast, lactobacillus. The wild yeast caused the grain to grow, to blossom, to rise, and then the lactobacillus consumes the waste from the wild yeast. It's a perfect combination. It's a very similar combination to what happens in our gastrointestinal tract, especially in our colon, in our small intestine. You've got a combination of wild yeast, candidas, and lactobacillus acidophilus, bifidus, bacterium, bacterius, and they work together beautifully in the gut. And it's the same with that sourdough bread. So when you eat sourdough bread, it's like you're eating pre-digested grain because it pre-digests or breaks down the protein or the gluten in the grain. And if you raise your sourdough bread and you leave it a little bit long, it can get a little bit too sour and become a little bit heavy. And that's pretty hard to digest. And the Bible talks about the sourdough bread. Where does it talk about that? In 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 6, the Bible says, "Know you not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump?" What's it referring to? That little bit of sourdough put into a whole bowl of flour and water, it will leaven the whole lump. And also in Matthew chapter 13, verse 33, in one of the analogies Jesus gives, he says, "The kingdom of heaven is like unto a woman that took some leaven and put it into some meal, and the whole lump was leavened." So what's it talking about here? It's talking about the sourdough bread. Because yeast was not extracted from the sourdough till the Industrial Revolution. And let's go to the desert with Moses and all of the Israelites, the millions he had there. And once a year, they would celebrate the Passover. And when they celebrated the Passover, what did the ladies had to put out of their house for 7 days? Leaven. What was that leaven? It would have been none other than the sourdough starter. I can imagine those ladies putting their starter into a little clay bowl and putting it out under a bush for a week and coming back after a week. I know I've been away sometimes for a few weeks and I come back and my starter's looking a bit sad. Take it out of the fridge. I put a bit of flour and water with it and put it on the bench. And depending how long I've neglected it as to how long it starts, it's starting to rise up again.